Hi everybody, Sanbonani. Welcome to Reality Buzz TV. So, listen, you guys, I want to talk about Isencane Lengane because I am now 2 episodes behind. Okay, because I didn't do the review last week, and then we had another episode this past Sunday. I don't regret it much not doing the review last week because there isn't a lot to talk about. Okay, and I was trying to figure out where they are trying to go with the show because when I started watching it this season, it felt like they don't have a direction. It looks like the cameraman or the crew just goes to Olundi and they set up their cameras and they are like, yeah, whatever, talk about whatever. They don't have a plan on the storylines. And I did express it by other video, you guys, that I feel like this show has potential because it already has viewership, but there's no quality to the content that they're giving us. But there are so many things that they could do with these kids that would be valuable for the viewers. Okay, but they're not doing that. So last week, the conversation that made up the most part of the episode was the conversation between Siyacela and Thando because Thando wants to change the type of marriage that they are married under. She says that they are married in community of property, but they had agreed before that they were going to be married out of community of property. So now she wants them to go to Home Affairs and change it. Okay. I don't know if that's possible, you guys, to do that, but that's what she says she wants to do. I feel like the reason that she wants to do that, you guys, is because the show is paying them, but the money goes to Siyacela, and since they are married, it's all their money together. I don't know why Mojalove would do that because I think that if she has an account and he has an account, they can just put her portion of the money in her account and his portion of the money in his account. But maybe if even if they did that, maybe he can still take the card and go use the money because his money is her money is his money. Okay, which is something, you guys, that doesn't really work like that in most marriages because even when you are married and you both have jobs, it's not like a person can just use your money without telling you. Usually you have your own account and he has his own account, and then you see how you pay for this, you pay for that. Sometimes you have a joint account, but it's not everybody that does that. Okay. But it's not like you can just have your money used without you knowing or approving of your money being used in a relationship. Okay. So I feel like mainly that's the reason she is saying that she wants to go to Home Affairs and change that type of marriage that they have right now. Of course, Sacela is not going to do that. He has no time to do that. He doesn't understand why she wants to do that. And she's like, listen, that is not going to happen. I don't have time to go to Home Affairs. I'm not going to do that. Okay. Another conversation that they have in this past episode was Utando saying that she wants Usacela to go pay Lobola for her again. I don't understand why she's saying that because in another episode she was saying that Yena she's over Usacela. She doesn't love him anymore. She is just waiting for inhliziyo yakhe ukuthi idele, it means that everything else has left except for her heart. Once her heart has had enough, then maybe she would live. Now, in this episode, she was saying that she wants Usacela to go pay Lobola for her because originally, when the Lobola was paid, it was paid by her father, and he had made a promise that he will re-Lobola her again. I've never heard of such a thing, you guys. It does not matter where Ilobolo came from, whether it came from your husband's father or from him. I have never heard of somebody getting Ilobolo again or Ekokelo Amalobolo twice. Okay? Kodwa-ke I understand her a little bit because leza iy'nkomo ababimlobola ngazo by ubabudlamuka zazizacile leza iy'nkomo leziyana. Zazingeve zizacile iy'nkomo, but-ke they took them. So I'm not understanding how she is going to now be lobolwat again. But that's what she says she wants. The shocking thing, you guys, about last week's episode, and Moja Love does this, you guys, is when they had a conversation Uthando no Siyacela about changing the marriage. Okay, Siyacela saying he doesn't have time to go to Home Affairs. He's not gonna do it. Uthando, if she wants to do it, she can go do it by herself. Now he goes to the car to talk to, I think his brother Usiyacela. He says something very shocking. He says, "Listen, this is what Uthando wants. I don't know why she wants that because she doesn't have much. Okay, I would understand," says Siyacela, "I would understand if at least she had something. But even if she had something, I would have killed her. We would have killed her," meaning him and his brother. At basis of something. I know they say it and he laughs, but I'm just wondering why it was okay for everybody that was there that he said that statement. I do wonder if it was corrected. And I'm just wondering, is nobody picking up that Usacre is actually saying that he would K Utando if Tando had isn't if she owned anything and she now wanted to change the type of marriage that they're married under, he would have killed her. But I think on Mojalav, the most shocking things can be made to be normal. He said that, you guys. And then another thing that happened, you guys, was the wives Baga Babu Dlamoka. Okay. Babu Dlamoka had many, many wives. Do you think sometimes you know how many wives it was? And then afterwards you're like, oh, there's this one as well. And this time it was Umaknene, Umashange, and then the two others. I forget their names. So there were four wives here. But I think he had more than four wives. Now they are discussing the issue of them now that Udlamuka has passed, who is going to take care of them? Okay. They say that Ubab Dlamuka had given them permission to date other people before he passed away. He had made it clear to say none of his brothers must marry his wives. You know, if the husband passes away, we are by the brother or something like that. Dlamuka had said before he passed that none of his brothers should marry his wives. Okay, they already belong to Dlamuka. He's allowing them to have boyfriends if they want, and the way that they should do that is they leave during the weekend to see their boyfriends and then come back home because obviously they can't. It won't be allowed for them to bring those men to Dlamuka. Okay. Now, they say that after Bab Lamuga had passed away, there was a meeting where Lamuga's other brothers, I guess the brothers that we hadn't met before, and there's also a brother that passed away who committed suicide. You know that brother. So when everybody was there, the other brothers had also expressed Uguti, they are not going to be able to take them as their wives. So they said, listen, they have their own wives and already they have a lot to take care of. So they were also giving them permission to go and date. Now there's a new man here who says he is Lamuga's brother that we had never seen before, okay, on the show. He is there saying that he is the one that is going to marry them. He wants to ngena all of the wives. When you look at that man, you look like you need to be taken care of. So, how are you going to be taking care of all of these wives? Also, I'm a Koska's guys. Two of those wives look very young. So I'm just wondering what was up. How was Udlamuga getting all of these ladies? But you remember that Lamuga at some point had said that when you are marrying somebody, it's not wrong to actually, put the natural science there so that the person loves you. He was saying it's referring to Siyacela no Thando. Even if Siyacela does that, it's not wrong. Uqinisa umuzi wakhe. So I'm thinking maybe he did that with his wives because they're very young. These wives are insisting that they're still very, very young. Bona amagazi abo asashisa. I don't know how many times they said that they're like "Bona basashiselwa igazi," so they need to find their boyfriends, but they are not going to accept the thing yokuthi bangenwe by this brother wakadlamoka. Okay, they want to have their boyfriends. Okay, I feel like the last one, especially you guys, she's very young. She can still meet a man and get married. In fact, all of them can still meet men and get married. But if they don't want to get married, I guess bangas tolela if they want. But the young one, I feel like she can still find a husband ashadi nje, you know. So I don't know what is this thing. Maybe they're just making a storyline with this brother now that suddenly wants to take them as wives because he was there. They said that he was there at the meeting when Lamuka said gave the instruction, but he wasn't at the meeting when the other brothers released these wives because the other brothers were like, "It's okay, you guys, umyeni wenu ushonile, thina sinamakhosikazi ethu, you guys can go and find or make, live your life. Okay, live your best life." Anyway, you guys, yes. When it comes to Thando, no, Siyacela, you guys, their relationship is just becoming worse and worse every season. It's clear that there is GBV in that relationship. It's very clear. Also, even when there isn't any physical abuse, there's verbal abuse. Siyacela is very verbally abusive to Uthando. He swears at her. He will be calling her all kinds of stupid because at some point she was trying to express, to listen, we have a car. She was trying to explain why she wants her things to be her things. She said, listen, we have a car right now. If I try to tell you don't use a car this way, you don't listen. So it will be better if the car is mine because I will be able to control what happens with the car. Now Siyacela says, listen, you don't even know how to drive. So what are you going to be doing with the car? With the car? Or if I give you the car keys right now, what are you going to do with those car keys? Utando is like, but you don't teach me to drive. And Siyacela is like, why should I teach you to drive? I'm not at driving school. Like the things that he says to her, I don't know, you guys. Like, I don't know where their lives are going. That's why, for me, it becomes very difficult at this point to review this show because I don't see where it's going. Even watching the show is not enjoyable because you're just watching Usacela being horrible to Utando, and then Utando will be acting like she'll be having these conversations like she does not know that she is married to a stupid man. Like we're the only one that can see that she's married to stupid, you know. And then you guys, he was saying also when it comes to paying Lobola again, he was saying he's not gonna do that. Besides, if he does that, where is he gonna pay Lobolo? Katabete no magamsomo. To which Utano says that no, you need to pay Lobola agamsom. So he's like, okay, fine, I'll pay Lobola, but can you go back to being a virgin? Because the reason I Lobola you at the beginning is because you're a virgin. Okay. He said something, you guys, a word that they kept beeping, which was inappropriate, referring to Utando and her womanhood. And I was trying to figure out what that word was, and I couldn't, you guys. I'm wondering if it is a good idea to even find out because I'm suspecting he was saying something very, very horrible. But because he was saying, I'm not going to lobola you if you have da 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 da, which they would blip. So I do wonder, you guys, what he was saying about Utando. Ideally, you guys, for me, Utando will be focused on her life. Ideally, Umojalav would insist that when they pay them separately. And it would actually be part of a storyline to be paid their money for the show and see them use that money in a way that improves their lives. One of Tando's complaints is that ever since she got married, she hasn't had a house of her own. The house they live in is Magasiacela's house, Siyacela's mom's house. And according to usiko lwesiZulu, you can't have amabhokisi omshado awu-two or three in the same house. So there has to be one. So Siyacela was supposed to build a house for him. They've done six seasons of the show. So even if they were paid 50,000 rands a season, okay, let's just say they were paid that little. So 50,000 rands a season. I mean, if he wanted to build a four-room house or two-room house, he would have built it by now. It's just not a priority for him. I think Utando does want a better life, But I feel like she's delusional to think Siyacela is going to give her that. He did say, however, you guys, that there is one thing that he's going to do, which is build Thando a house. But when it comes to her, him paying Lobola again, he's not going to do that. When it comes to him going to Home Affairs to change the type of marriage that they have, he's not going to do that. He thinks it's crazy. And with the Lobola situation, Utando must put back her virginity and also bring back her PIPI because he was also a virgin. Then he will go and pay, Lobola again. Okay. Listen, you guys, I do feel like whoever is producing this show, just, I don't know. I don't know if it's lack of experience or what, but they're doing a really horrible job with a show that has so much potential. They're not doing much. We're just watching nonsense every week. Okay. But I just feel like it has so much potential. They could really do a good storyline, especially with Utando, but they're not doing it. So that's all, you guys, that's happening on that show right now. Okay. I guess the Lamuga wives are going to be participating more on the show because if we don't watch Tando, we have to be watching someone. Okay. So they're showing us a little bit more on what's happening with the Lamuga wives. I prefer that than what they showed us last week, which was Utem Kosi and the Tabete family doing a, was it a birthday party for the grandfather that was not even there? Because I don't understand why we keep being shown about Bagatabet. You know, I feel like I want to only see Utem because when he is interacting with Siyacela and Thando, other than that, I'm not interested in seeing that storyline. I'm not interested in seeing Utem Kosi. I'm not interested in seeing Pink. You know, because they just have this conversation about how Uthando, Klaza, Uthando, Njani, Uthando. I just feel like, why are we seeing? Why are we watching these people? So they had this party celebrating the grandfather, but the grandfather was not there. Even that in itself was not making sense, you know. So I'm like, why they travel all the way there with the cameras, the crew, everybody to just show that scene, the nonsense scene. So even that, you guys, I'm like, it's the show has no direction. Okay. So we watched them, they were singing there, but the grandfather is not there, but they sang the party, grandfather. I'm like, what? I don't know, you guys. Maybe the show will get better as we move along, but it's very difficult for me to review episode by episode because there's usually maybe just one thing that is said, the whole episode that is interesting. The rest of it is just the nonsense, conversations between Siyacela and Thando that are just like going round and round and round and round and round. And I'm like, what the hell? For for all we know, our only hope on this show is the Dlamuga wives. They might have interesting storylines. Maybe we'll get to meet their boyfriends or something. Because on this side, it's just like very boring. Okay. Anyway, you guys, that's all that I wanted to talk about when it comes to Isencane Lengane. I don't know, you guys. Maybe at some point I'll end up really giving up on this show. This show is very close to my heart because it's one of the very first shows that I did a review for when I started doing reviews on my channel. And I love it so much, but I hate the fact that they are just not doing a good job with it. Anyway, thank you so much, you guys, for watching this video. Please like it before Pumegona, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers.